You hit the number, you closed the deal, you got the title, and it didn't even land. You didn't even feel it. You stood inside that moment you spent years building towards, and something in you was already looking for the next win, the next big thing, before that win was even cold. You didn't tell anybody because from the outside, this looks like exactly what you said you wanted. And you can't be the person standing in your life that you built, looking around and quietly thinking, is this it? But you are that person. And so are the most of the people that you know and respect and trust. And probably they're your friends, probably. They just don't talk about it either. There's something specifically happening, and almost nobody is going to name it. Yeah, so I will. What you've been doing is not wrong. It's not broken. The achievement isn't wrong. The drive isn't wrong. The version of you that built all of this is not wrong or broken. But you've spent, 20, 30 years building one specific capacity. The capacity to push, to deliver, to execute, to perform, and the world rewarded you for it, so you kept building it. And the entire time you were building that capacity, the doing capacity, you weren't building the capacity to receive or be. That is not a personality flaw. That's the identity you've been running for 30 odd years. That system worked exactly as it designed to deliver everything you said you wanted. It's done it perfectly. But now you arrived and the system has finished its job. It's the end of the runway for it. The feeling underneath it, that success is empty feeling, isn't the system failing. It's the system doing exactly what it should be doing. So let me tell you exactly what's happening underneath all of this, because you've felt this, but you don't necessarily have the words for it, or you have, but they're wrong. The things that you were chasing, the number, the title, the deal, you weren't really chasing it for yourself. You were chasing it for what you thought it would make you feel. Calm, worthy, successful, peaceful, happy, whatever the story is, whatever the feeling is, it's the end of performance. And the brutal joke at the center of all this high achievement is pretty much this. The doing that gets you to the result is now exactly what's keeping the feeling away. Not the absence of the result, it's the presence of the doing. The version of you that could feel calm, worthy, successful, happy, free, that version has been suppressed by the version of you driving towards the result. So when the result finally arrives, the part of you that was supposed to feel it isn't even there, hasn't been online for years. That is what reasons why the success feels empty. Not because you don't have feelings, because you put them away 30 odd years ago to win a game. And the game doesn't give them back to you just because you've reached your goal or hit that title, that dollar figure. And my clients are people you will probably recognize, like founders who literally exited 7 and 8 figure businesses and felt worse the morning of the transfer, the money hit their bank account, than the morning before when the deal was done. Executives who got the title they've been working so hard towards and sacrificed for 12, 15 years and called me 3 weeks later asking why they can't sleep. People who built something extraordinary with their life and sat in their own living room and quietly described their lives as they're being a stranger. But none of them were ungrateful. None of them were depressed or anxious. Well, not in the clinical state anyway. They had a problem the field doesn't have a good name for yet. And that's the part, that's the reason why it doesn't get solved. So here's what I've seen again and again and again across 25 odd years in banking. The intelligent, driven, capable person, the kind of person who builds something real, they've got really good at doing stuff. They get rewarded for it early. School rewards it, work rewards it, the culture they grew up in rewards it. So they get sharper and sharper at the one specific muscle that delivers everything to doing shit. And the more they develop the muscle, the more forgotten the other muscles get. The receiving and the being muscle. The capacity to sit inside a moment without trying to do anything with it. The capacity to feel a result land without immediately looking for the next big thing to chase or hit. You can probably feel this. Sitting still feels almost unbearable. Reach for your phone. Not because you're stressed, because the part of you that knows how to sit still, that knows how to be somewhere instead of going somewhere, that part hasn't been needed in so long, you got no idea where it is. And this is part of the coaching world won't tell you because they can't, because their whole product is, based on doing shit. More frameworks, more morning routines, more optimizations, more doing crap. The thing you actually need can't be sold to you in the language of doing, because what you need is the opposite of doing. And once you've spent 30 years being the doing person, even the idea of stopping feels like failure to some people. And that's the trap. So let me name something almost nobody will say out loud, because if you felt it, you've probably felt it pretty much all alone. Some of my clients even walk into their own house. They've bought the house in the postcode that they wanted, the partner they chose, the children they love. And there are moments where it feels like they're observing it from the outside, like they're watching someone else's life happen to them. And they're not quite sure how they even got there, and they can't quite figure out why it isn't landing the way it was supposed to. I did everything right. Why can't I feel happy or successful? That's not depression. That's not detachment disorder. That's not them being broken that you need to be fixed. That's the cost of being the doing person for so long that the being person, the one who was supposed to be inside all of this, feeling it, isn't quite there to receive any of the stuff that you're doing. That is what this success feeling empty bucket actually is. It is in the absence of the right things. You've got the right shit. It's the absence of the version of you that the right things were supposed to be for. The life is there. The person inside the life is somewhere else. And the more you try and fix this with more fucking optimization and doing, a new gym, a new routine, a new productivity stack, a new business goal, a new executive coach, a new fucking high performance bullshit, the more you get, the more you try and fix it, the further away you get, because every layer of you doing, it pushes that being person further and further away. It suppresses what was barely there to begin with and makes the gap even wider. The strategy that built all of this is a strategy that's now actively in your way of getting where you want to get to. So, what actually moves this? Because that's the question. That's why you're here. And almost everyone gets the answer completely wrong. And it's not another fucking framework. It's not a different morning routine, if fucking ice baths or more sophisticated optimization stacks. It's not 3 weeks in a meditation retreat, and it's not quitting your job and moving to fucking Bali. The answer is something that the field has been calling presence for so long that the world is pretty much the word has lost its meaning. So let me describe it without using the word itself. The thing that was forgotten, the receiving, the being muscle, has to be rebuilt. And the rebuilding doesn't happen in the thinking brain. The thinking brain is the part that got you here. It's the part that's good at doing. It's the wrong instrument for the layer that you're working on. The work happens in the body, in the nervous system, in the specific, slow, often boring act of teaching a system that has been in pursuit mode for 30 years to be somewhere without trying to extract fucking value from it, or a metric. This is not glamorous work. It does not sell well. There is no podcast about it that will entertain your commute to work. It's the opposite of content. And it has to be done in relationship, not alone in your head with another book or more intelligence. Because the substrate that the thinking mind is, which is sitting on, can't be rewritten by the thinking mind. It can only be rewritten in the presence of another nervous system that is not intimidated by yours, isn't going to flinch when the real version of you shows up, and has done its own version of this work deeply enough to be able, to be stable with yours while yours shifts. That's what actually moves it. That's what nobody's going to sell you on Instagram or LinkedIn. They'll sell you more fucking optimization. When people get it, when the work lands even a little, the first thing that comes back is the feeling, not the dramatic feeling. It's an ordinary feeling. It's the taste of a meal you are actually inside of, the texture of a conversation with your partner where you are present for the full whole time, not on your phone, the weight of your child sitting beside you on the couch and you actually noticing it, like really noticing it for the first time in years. Look, I've had people sit in front of me and say, with some rather difficulty, that they had forgotten that this was even available to them. They had been so far down the doing road for so long that they'd stopped believing that the being road was even possible or even there. And then they say something that I noticed quite a lot, which is remarkable. They say, is this what I was building all of this for? Not the number, not the exit, not the title, not the possession, not the status. This, the thing they had been outsourcing to achievement all along, was the experience of being a person inside their own life. The achievement was just the proxy. The thing they actually wanted was always the feeling. And the doing had been blocking the feeling the entire time. And they bloody realize it then. So here's the only thing I'll ask you to do. Stop. Not stop your career, not stop your responsibilities, not stop the things that are real and matter and depend on you. Just stop for 1 hour this week doing the thing you do when there's a pocket of free time, which is usually you'll fill it, right? You'll fill it with email, you fill it with the next thing, you fill it with the gym or the podcast or Instagram scrolling or whatever the fuck you guys do. Just sit for 1 hour somewhere you can hear yourself think with no input, no screen, no task, no headset, no optimization from your performance coach. But most of you won't do this. And I want you to notice that. The resistance to that hour is not laziness. It's not nothing to do. The resistance to that hour is the thing we've been talking about for the last 12 odd minutes. That hour is where the work begins. Not in the hour itself, in what you do with the resistance to it.